and the greatest. TP Way the Giant. It's your guy who was never lying. Sometimes defiant. See, I know and understand that you could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me. Let's go, let's go. Feet 544. You know, it's a way of life, it's a lifestyle. It means we don't just talk like a giant, but we walk like a giant. You know, it's facts over feelings over here. This is where all the New York Giant soldiers congregate and have real conversations. Now let me make it clear. Viewer discretion is advised. The thoughts and opinions are not the thoughts and opinions of the New York Giants. Now before we kick this thing off, I need each and every one of you to make sure that you like this stream. And if you're new to this experience, especially if you are a New York Giant soldier, you gotta subscribe. 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 Come on, man. Now, grab your favorite snack. Grab your favorite drink. And if you smoke, we'll go ahead and smoke something from you. And we about to kick this thing off. One more major announcement that I cannot afford to let you sleep is that if you visit the description of this video, then go ahead and do yourself a favor and cop some merch. Official like a referee's whistle. That's how we give it up. Now without further ado, I said without further ado, let's get this shit started. Yeah. Let's go. Get on in here. Jump in these comments. We have a special one for you. It's your guy who was never lying, sometimes defiant. TP Way, the Giant. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. I have a special treat for y'all tonight. I wanted to take advantage of this bye week and bring in some New York Giant minds to this thing so we could just have a nice conversation tonight, man. So get on in here, jump on in these comments, make sure that you like the stream, and we're going to get things jumping off, man. Dan Smith, I see you. New York Giant salute to my guy, Dan Smith. Juan Santiago says, love the intro. Let's go, Big Blue. Good, willing, clean house. Yeah, I get it. We're going to talk about it for sure. Let me go ahead, man, and bring some New York Giant lieutenants, man, from the backstage on, and we could begin this thing, man. First, I'm going to go ahead and introduce a familiar face, someone who y'all have seen plenty of times before. One of my guys in this thing, man. Somebody who I could have on that can bring in that new and old school at the same time, who is knowledgeable and not just New York Giant football, but New York Giant sports in general. You guessed it, my guy Jorge from Born for Sports is in the building. How you feeling?
What's going on? Listen, I'm ready to talk whatever we got to talk about, man.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to this stream, man. Salute to the chat, salute to UTP as always.
Yo. It's therapy tonight. You know, we just gonna have a nice little therapy session, man. That's it.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Also, man, I have another gentleman with us, someone who I have been listening to a lot lately, man. He is from the NYG Blue Zone. Matter of fact, I want to also take this time to give a special shout out to not only him, man, but his wonderful and amazing daughter, Stella Rose. She is absolutely incredible. I actually wanted to mention this backstage, and it just popped up in my head. You know, a lot of times, you know, us as dads, right? We like to introduce our kids to basketball or introduce them to, you know, nowadays it's even football, you know, whatever it is.
Right.
And I think it is so dope that my guy Atticus, man, has this show with his daughter and really introducing her to the broadcasting world. It is an absolute must watch, man. My guy Atticus is in the building. Yes,
What's
sir.
up,
How you feeling,
everybody? TP, thanks for having
Yes,
me
sir.
tonight, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's interesting because you brought up my daughter, and she's the reason we started the NYG Blue Zone. I got a real quick, funny story to tell you. My wife is a diehard Steelers fan, and her and her family, they worked hard on Stella to get her to be a Steelers fan. She had the Steelers binkies, the onesies, all of that. And I just stayed in my place, right? I just fell back and let her decide what she wanted to do when she was old enough. And she was the one that decided that she was rolling with Big Blue. So, and she's been a fan ever since. So,
good job, Dad. Good
Let's
job.
go, man.
Yo, I think, you know what? Right there.
That's probably where I went wrong. Because my daughter, I've been doing everything Giant. That's what I do with all my kids. I put Giant on them as soon as they out the womb. And my daughter now, she's 11, and I see her going to school and all types of jerseys, and I'm sitting back, man, like the Grinch, like, what are we doing here? And you know what? Maybe I put too much on it. Like maybe I should have just walked and been like, yo, you know what? Where to follow.
It's a lot of pressure on the kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Another reason to blame Joe Shane, bro.
Yeah, she the smart one though. She's like, look, all this losing, why would I be walking with the Giants? She the smart one. I'm the irrational one. And last but not least, man, that's right. We have one more, man. This is someone who I definitely respect his football mind, man. You could see him on many of different platforms, Sports Illustrated to be exact, or I Keep It Spicy, or I mean, the list can go on, man. He has 30 plus years of experience being around this game, man, as a player, coach, evaluator, or even journalist. Yeah, I told y'all I bring him on. I will reach out to him, man. I have no problem reaching out to him. It is the one and only Coach Gene Clemens in the building.
Yo.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
And just because I like to keep it spicy, I'm the only one in here in green. So I know what time it is. I just want y'all to know what time I'm on right now. I am on demon time. I'm here for all of the shenanigans, all of these. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
You got the right one.
Let's go.
A Giant issue, Coach Gene, you get a certain Coach Gene. But when I come on and you guys bless me to have me on your platforms, I don't ever want you might walk out of here saying, hey man, I can't rock with Coach Gene's opinions, but you never gonna walk out of here and say, yo, Coach Gene ain't entertaining.
I love it. I love it. I love it, man. So, I mean, there's so many different places that we could really start in this thing. First off, let me shout out to my guy, Moti's in the building. I'm glad you digging the intro. You know what I mean? I'm glad you digging the intro. I'm not the best rapper, so I just do my talking piece. You know what I mean? That dark friend is in the building, says, my wife was a Cowboys fan, and I converted her while dating, but I converted from Mets to Red Sox for her. Football is way more my life. Hey, man, I love it. New York Giants salute to that dark friend. I feel you. My wife, she's a Giant fan, but she talks more shit than all of us. Like, she don't understand what's going on, why we are so close in games this year, and just can't get it done. But she rides with me, so that's all I ask. Let me see. El Jefe, I see you. El Jefe in the building. Giant salute to El Jefe. Again, look, there's plenty of things we could start with. I'll say, let's start here. The big question surrounding this fan base, just surrounding Giant Nation right now, is what are we going to do with this head coaching position? Now, me personally, I wanted to give Coach Kafka a chance. Really, up until this Patriot game, I thought that he had a big shot as far as the next head coaching opportunity. And after the Patriot game, there were some things that I seen, and I'm all out on that. How do y'all feel about, for one, Coach Kafka in this thing, man? Jorge, I'll start with you, and we'll just work our way around.
Well, I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I am out.
Yeah.
Out on Coach Kafka being the head coach of this football team. I was out on it even before that. I'm not for the head coach. Offensive coordinator, we can just have a discussion on that, But I'm not even on that type of time either. I want this all cleaned out. I mean, I just want it all distinguished. Kafka, to me, Kafka's just showing he ain't ready anyway. You know what I mean? Right. Like, he's just not ready to be the lead guy. You know what I mean? And it's, based on the last 4 years, I'm just ready to just clean the house. I don't care. I want everybody gone. I want the GM gone. Obviously I wanted Dave and his coaching staff gone. You know what I mean? Shit. Get rid of the ushers. I don't care. Just clean it all out. We need to start off fresh. Let's get a new voice and a new way of doing business as the New York Giants organization needs to do. It's just time, TP. It's just time, man. Like we run this back for 4 years and we can't keep circling place, man. That's just where I'm at with it. Now, we want to talk offensive coordinator, as I just mentioned. I think we can have the conversation depending on the type of coach we hire. If we go like defensive oriented and he doesn't have an answer for the offense like that'll excite, and you just want to keep continuity there for Dart, all right, we can have a talk. But I want it all cleaned out, bro. That's just the type of time I'm on.
I knew you was going there. And you've been telling me when I've been saying, hey, Kafka, he still has a shot in this thing. Who's the one? I was like, nah. So
I'm just ready to do things different. You know what I mean, bro? Like I don't know how you guys feel. I hope you guys feel the same, but that's okay if you don't. I just feel like this is hiring Kafka after firing Dable is a typical John Mara, New York Giants. I want to be comfortable kind of move. You know what I mean? And it's time for this organization to get uncomfortable, because being comfortable clearly hasn't worked to the advantage. Then we do this with Coughlin and McAdoo. We did the same type of similar thing. You know what I mean? They got rid of Coughlin, and they still paying the price for that. And what did they do? They went with continuity with Ben McAdoo. It worked the first year, and then we saw when they figured out what he was about, that was a disaster. So I just think we need to get away from that and do something different. That's just me.
Got you. Atticus, what about you, man?
Yeah, I got similar thoughts about the whole thing. I do need to say that the big elephant in the room, and he alluded to it just now, is Mara, Tisch. They've always had their hands in the pot, right? Kafka, as far as him auditioning for this head coaching job, initially I was like, okay, I see you. I really like what he's done with this offense. I mean, for this guy to come in and have Malik Neighbors go out in week 4, lose Cam Scatterboo when he did in, what was that, week 9 or whatever it was. Darius Slayton is in and out of the lineup. he's had to revive Tyrone Tracy Jr. because he just seemed like he was off to start the season. Like, he's done so much with less for this offense. And when you think about what he was able to do, I mean, it's the verdict is still out, but 16.1 points per game we were getting last year. This year, we're at 5 points higher than we were last year. We're like 21.5 points per game. And he's doing this without his key players in the game. So he's doing a lot with less pieces. So I like that. As the OC, as the head coach, tough task for him to go against the New England Patriots the other night. Monday Night Football, you got a new defensive coordinator. I do like it in a way that he didn't immediately fire Shane Bowen, even though as a fan, I was like, get rid of this guy right now, right? But he needed to see how Shane Bowen was going to respond to him as the head coach, right? So he evaluated him through a different lens. And then he got rid of him after 2 games. But I don't know. I don't think he should be the new head coach for the Giants. I don't want them to take that interim tag off of him like you talked about Ben McAdoo. What a disaster that turned out to be. We needed to get him out the stadium quick.
Talk about it.
But I think I'm still left with a lot of questions more than I have answers right now with Kafka. But one thing's for sure, he did not sell me this past week that he is the guy. From a time management perspective, you got the ball 4th and 1. You got an opportunity to get your team back in it. It was just a couple of things that he did that said to me, I don't know about your play calling in certain situations. Like, analytics say you go for it right now. And he was like real hesitant when last week he wasn't. And the week before he wasn't. He showed a little bit more aggression. And I wanted to see that, and I didn't see it. In terms of his play calling, though, I love what the guy's doing. If there's a way we can keep him as the offensive coordinator, I'm open to it. As the head coach, I ain't sure.
All right, coach. It's on you.
You love 20. You love 21 points a game.
I like it better than 16.1 points a game.
He was there for the 16.1.
Yeah, but Dable took over the play calling at that point.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that Jackson Dart's best attribute is with his arm right now?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think just right now, like, what's his best attribute?
His legs. Being able to create when the play breaks down.
Yep.
Okay. That's his best attribute.
Being able to create with his legs.
Off script.
No, because he hasn't always done it with his legs.
Yeah,
I've seen him create.
No, you're right. He's doing it with his legs.
You're right. I will not discount what he has been able to do with his legs, but he has also done some across body back shoulder throws that I was like, how the heck while on the run? How did he do that? The guy, I think that if he is developed properly, he's going to have a good career in this league.
Okay, so here's my thing about Kafka. Mm-hmm. Somehow they fired Brian Dable and got up here about like what Kafka's role was in the firing. Everybody's responsible for this firing. It's not just Brian Dable out here like doing it's not a one-man show pulling all the strings and the puppets. He empowered these guys. He empowered them. And they didn't get the job done. Brian Dable fell on the sword for a coaching staff that underachieved at every level. The wide receiver coach, fire him. Ain't been no development of wide receivers around here. The running backs coach, fire him. There's no development of running backs. It's the same running backs that we've seen over and over again. And for some reason, we can't even assess why Turbo Miller should be out here returning kicks instead of Deonte Banks. Like, What are we talking about? Like they've got guys back there in the running back group who have never played a special team in their entire life. All of a sudden playing special teams and returning kicks. Devin Singletary. To me, this is a group effort, and the person who fell on the sword might just be the best coach of all of them. The guy who fell on the sword, Brian Dable. He's going to go out next year and get an offensive coordinator job. He's going to be somebody's offensive coordinator next year. Guess who he might be offensive coordinator next year?
For the Eagles. For the Eagles.
There's no guarantee that Mike Kafka walks into an offensive coordinator position next year. There's no there's no guarantee of it. Why? Because he lacks the killer instinct that you need to have when you're an offensive coordinator. You talk about the him having this imagination and design. Oh, well, he's doing all of this without all of his weapons. The only weapon that's missing is Malik Nabers. Malik Nabers is the only weapon that's missing, and he's had more consistent quarterback play this year than they had last year. So why are we only scoring 21 points if I'm on that team? Why is it only doing that?
Are you saying from last year, or are we including Scat in this?
What do you mean, Scat?
Yeah, because he's missing Scat as well.
Scat hasn't done anything that Tyrone Tracy didn't do last year. Look at the stats. Look at the stats.
But outside of
Tyrone Tracy came in, he was getting 100+ yard games on a regular basis
last season.
Right, but Scat, Scat, I think he just brings a different element as far as wear and tearing these defenses. Like, I think that nobody likes to tackle him. Like, I think they get tired of tackling this man.
And in the red zone, he is hard to stop.
What would a Tyrone Tracy had looked like if he had a quarterback who can be a +1 as a rusher last year?
You know what?
He didn't have that.
I want to chime in on
Tracy.
Bunch of trees. I want to chime in on the Tracy and Scat debate here real quick. I'm gonna be honest. Tracy is running soft this year. Let's call it what it is. Okay. Last year, I saw him take on tackles. And it could be injury related because he missed some games with that shoulder. But I know when I see Scat get in that game and he get that ball, those defenses are reluctant to hit him. I know that, and he takes it on, and his runs. There's no doubt, even doubting it early in the year. The play that he was giving us was making the offense elevate along with Dart. Even when Russell was in there, it was elevating. So, I understand what you're saying, Coach. I do. I get what you're saying, where you're coming from of last year.
Where's Cat at right now?
Yeah. Well, he's hurt now.
And that's the problem. And that's the problem with what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. That design, that type of running style has never lasted in the NFL. Name one.
Yeah.
Name one guy who's been able to have a long career built off being a crash test dummy out here. Not one. Name me a quarterback.
It's a different era.
King Henry.
Era, no doubt.
King Henry
ain't never been a crash test dummy. King Henry might be one
That's
of the
a big dude. You run away from him, you see him coming.
Short yardage running backs in the history of short yardage running.
Yeah, no I was about to mention this, Dark Fern. My only pushback, because I agree. I said this when I seen the consistent style of things from Scat. But my only pushback to that is when Scat got hurt, it wasn't him crashing into anything or anything along those lines. It was more like one of those just incidental, just you can't make it up type situation.
I'm just saying that people who play that type of game, they normally fall by that type. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who play that, he jumped up for something. It like that fearlessness, that recklessness. We love it in the moment, but ultimately, it's the same thing that we love you for is the thing that does you in, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm not saying that Scat's not good. I'm not saying that but I'm saying comparing what he was giving you, just based off of stats, you were getting that from a running back last year. So the only thing that's changed from last year's offense to this year's offense is Malik Nabers is out. And Malik Nabers was inefficient last year. Malik Nabers, his numbers were inefficient. Wan'Dale Robinson's numbers were inefficient. The only one who had efficient numbers was Darius Slayton. This year, Wan'Dale Robinson way more efficient with his receiving, but they don't have a Malik Nabers now. and we're out here, but they have better quarterback play. So now we're out here saying that Kafka is doing a good job when he gets the Jackson Dart back, and the game plan is to not have any designed runs for the guy whose best attribute is with his feet. Like you're setting yourself up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody who's saying, oh well, they're trying to get Jackson Dart hurt. Them guys just don't know football. Nobody's trying to get the guy hurt. You're playing a game with the attribute that's the best of the person that's behind center until they can show you something else, right? Until he can sit back there in the pocket and dart people up for 280 yards. You're going to use his legs because that's your best chance for success. And even within there, they were pulling back on using him. But every time they ran these designed runs, they were going for 10 and 12 and 14 and 15 and 20-something yards. Why would you take that out of your offense if you're trying to win games? And that's where I feel like we could get into a conversation about what are the Giants really trying to do when they got rid of Brian Daboll? Were they trying to win games, or did they set this up and go, this is our chance to tank without tanking?
I think you're giving them too much credit right now, because last year they messed around and beat the brakes off the Colts and blew their opportunity for the number 1 draft pick. But
they didn't mess around.
Agree with you.
They didn't mess around and do that. They put a quarterback in they thought was going to lay down, and he just didn't lay down that game.
He ain't lay down. But I agree with you with your assessment of Brian Daboll falling on the sword for everybody else, because they're coaching deficiencies at several levels. With the exception of the offensive line, I think Andre Patterson has not done well. I don't think the defensive back coach has done well. I don't think that Kelly did well with the tight ends. It wasn't until lately that we saw them performing at a higher level. But I also think that while Brian Daboll might have been the best coach of the team, he was not a good head coach. He didn't have the right temperament for it. He didn't have a lot of the qualities that you need to be an effective leader of men. And it shows with all these deficiencies at all the other coaching positions on this team. That's why you got DBs underperforming, linebackers underperforming, the defensive line underperforming. The offensive line looked like crap for years. How many years have we talked about an inept, not even an adequate, an average offensive line, but they've been subpar for years. Fair. And Brian Daboll, he's been a part of that.
Yeah, he's been a part of that. But those middle 2 years, his offensive line was ravaged by injuries. So
but how you putting Joshua Zudu in at left tackle for 2 years?
That's all he had. He's not the GM. That's my point I'm making. He's not the GM. That's all he had. Mm-hmm. So he did with what he had. That's it. We ain't got nothing else. Got to put a Zudu there. This is what this guy gave me to work with. The first year when everybody stayed healthy, playoff team, one of the better rushing offenses in the league. Everybody stayed healthy. Year 2, offensive line gets hurt, the whole thing goes to shambles. Year 3, offensive line gets hurt, the whole thing goes to shambles. Year 4, everybody's healthy, the offensive line looks good, and yet the offensive line coach that everybody wants to say is doing such a great job can't find a way to get anything out of Evan Neal. Can't find a way to get anything out of a 6'7", ultra athletic, road grader in the run game. He can't even be a guy who comes in as the 6th offensive lineman. But I'm supposed to give credit to Carmen Bracillo. Man, if we don't get all of these coaches out of here, get these dudes out of here and start fresh. It's all poison. And
I gotta push back.
He might be a great offensive line coach. He hasn't been a great offensive line coach here. They just got better
than the last one.
Man, I can't go with that, coach.
They just got better players.
Dude, nah, bro. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
He said he gonna keep it spicy. Give him that.
Yeah. Let's be honest.
It's the truth. They just got better players.
Is Marcus McKeithen in the league right now?
Because
he was a high draft pick, bro. He was a high draft pick by Joe Schoen in his first year.
He was a 4th round draft pick.
Yeah, and fourth round picks usually they end up either being a quality depth piece or a starter. Ezeudu too. Ezeudu, I mean, TP will tell you, we've been trying to get rid of this guy for 3 years. And he's like, you know, I hate to make a WWE, but he like the Undertaker. He just keep rising back up. And we've been trying to get rid of him for years because he's just not good. They're using him at tackle when he's a guard. And when he's a guard, he's like
they ruined him.
Evan Neal was a bust before even Brasillo got here, to be honest.
He's not a bust. That's my point. He's not a bust.
So you're saying you still believe in him?
I'm saying we haven't even really seen him. He hasn't played a full season of football.
So, Coach, do you think he would play well at guard?
I think he would be better than Van Roten. You damn right I do.
I think he'd be a good guard.
I mean,
they did it with Eric Flowers, right?
I think he's an infinite better run blocker than both of the guards right now.
See, I agree with that. I thought they mishandled him from the beginning.
You know something, fellas? I think we listen. Van Roten is who he is. He's not like a major starter, Pro Bowl guard at his point. He's supposed to be a depth piece. But I think he's played a lot better than what we give him credit for this year, man. I really do. Evan Neal, I think he is a guard. I think he can be a solid guard. A run blocking guard.
But that's what I want to get into. Hasn't he been hurt?
No. The injured reserve is the biggest sham in the history of NFL football. That's where they just put dudes when they don't want them to play. He was a healthy scratch for the better part of the entire season. He hasn't actually dressed out for a game. He hasn't dressed out for a game. So now you're telling me that this elite level offensive line coach can't get this 6'7", 325-pound dude who every time we see him in the run game, say what you want about him in pass protection, even though I have thoughts. Every time we see him in the running game, he is moving bodies out the way. And you're telling me you can't find no way to use him, but they're putting 6 offensive linemen on the field.
I don't know, bro. Give me Membo over Evan Neal.
Yeah, like who would
You're not even playing Bo.
I like him, Bo.
But I guess I just don't understand who are we going to take off from Evan Neal. I mean, I know you say GVR, but again, we can't ignore the fact that the passing, when it comes to pass blocking, man,
he's not the greatest in pass blocking.
They are 5th in the league in pass block grade.
He's not. I'm saying he's not the greatest in pass blocking. I think it's
no. You're right.
I think he's the weakest of all of them when it comes to pass blocking. I think the problem with our center, the problem with the center position is that he's just undersized, and at sometimes he's going to get ran over. That's just a fact of life. Like, he just is who he is. He's going to get ran over from time. Like, Van Roten is a guy who should have been the utility inside backup.
I agree. Yeah.
He should have been back. That's what he came here to do. He came here to back up the center and the guards. Illuminor came here to be the guard. They moved Illuminor to tackle because Neal was hurt. When Neal got healthy, he played in one preseason game. He looked good. They never gave him a chance to play after that. Then when Andrew Thomas got hurt and they finally got smart and moved Illuminor to the left tackle, guess who came in and played right tackle pretty darn well? Evan Neal. Nobody talked about it. Nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. And then in the offseason, they moved him to guard and never gave him a chance to really like win the position. And shout out to 2 giant goofballs out there in the chat, bro. I could care less if you think I'm crazy. Look at your name. Get a better name and then start talking noise, my friend. Like, we ain't finna be doing that around here. I'm all about the smoke in these comments. I'll be in there in a second. Don't worry about it. I'm all about the smoke in these comments. They never gave Neal a legitimate chance. He's a natural left side offensive lineman. They never put him at left tackle. Why? Because if you put him at left tackle and he has success, then you gotta explain to people why you had this man playing on the right side the entire time. They never put him at left guard. Why? Because if he plays left guard and he's good, then you have to then justify why you've had this man on the bench the entire time when he could have been an elite left guard. Just imagine Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, 600, almost 700 pounds of force on the left side moving bodies.
Who do you blame for the mismanagement of these players on that offensive line? Do you blame Dable? Do you blame Shane? Do you blame Brasillo? Who do you blame for that?
I'm not blaming Brasillo. Brasillo did what he was told, right? Brasillo did what he's told. My point with Brasillo is this isn't elevation. These guys are just who they are. Joe Shane is the issue, and he's been the issue from the beginning. He's been the issue from the beginning. He came in and got rid of all of the talent that was already homegrown here, ready to go. All you had to do was re-sign him. He got rid of every single
about
person,
McKinney.
Every single person, every one of them. He came in and got rid of Bradbury. Bradbury went over to the Eagles. They were in the Super Bowl.
But Bradbury was losing a step. I ain't mad at him for that one.
He went to the Eagles and
we were
started all year.
Yeah, but Bradbury was getting cooked over there, even with the Eagles, though.
Yeah.
Who cares? He was good enough to keep playing. He was good enough.
He was definitely better than Tay Banks, right? He was better than Tay Banks.
What would work?
He was
for
better
them?
than who they had at cornerback that year. He was better than anybody they put out at cornerback that year. So now you got him. You leave him. You get him out of there, right? You get Xavier McKinney out of there. No, I'm sorry. You get Love out of there. Homegrown. You get Xavier McKinney out of there. Homegrown. You go and draft all of these safeties. None of them can play the third level. None of them are third level safeties. None of them have the dynamics to do multiple things like McKinney did. You're still looking for a safety. That is a failure that's a failure on the GM's part. You get rid of Leonard Williams. Everybody cheers. Oh my God, look what they got for him. Leonard Williams is still playing at an all-pro level over there in Seattle. This is 3 years later.
That's a fact, and we ain't been able to replace him since.
Able to replace him.
Got Brian Burns on that,
imagine Leonard Williams next to Dex.
I ask myself all the time.
With all of this outside, right? So when I look at the moves that have been made by Joe Shane, it has been consistently getting rid of people who were effective in order to bring in my guys. And his guys have not done the job.
You nailed it right there.
Not to the level that you want them to do it.
Yeah.
And in his press conference, he borderline tried to claim ownership for Andrew Thomas being here. Like, that wasn't Joe guy. You inherited him.
He tried. Did you guys catch how Joe Shane tried to like put the knife in Dable back, trying to save his own self, talking about, oh, well, we already knew about Jackson Dart because we were scouting him and we had our earliest 30 visit that we've ever had with him before because Dable was coaching. He never even met him or knew about him.
I understand the question, but I understand the question that you're asking. But no, that was crazy. He really did say this was an organizational decision. Like, we all knew who was really all bought in on Jackson Dart.
Right.
And it wasn't Joe Shane. If Joe Shane had his way, he would have drafted Shedeur Sanders.
Okay,
which
so let
we
me
still don't know who he's going to be.
Let me ask this for clarification, right? So as Joe Shane, the GM, if let's say he wasn't all in on Jackson Dart, let's say he really did want a Shedeur underline, but ultimately he pushes the button and he says, you know what? I'm just going to put my trust in the fact that Dart will be the guy. Does he not get credit for at least?
No.
Yeah, the same way the guy on injured reserve get a ring when you win a Super Bowl. That's what Joe Shane got for drafting Jackson Dart.
I'm just saying he could have overruled them, right? Like he could have had. He could have still said, "Nah, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but no, I'm getting Shedeur." Or even though I don't think Shedeur is still, I still not off on that. I don't think Shedeur is a bad pick, but he could have said anyone else. Like he could have went another way.
I don't think it was a Shedeur thing. I don't think Shedeur had anything to do with it. I'm just saying
any quarterback outside.
I don't think Joe Schoen wanted Jackson Dart. And by the way, there's a lot of reasons to not have been in on Jackson Dart in the first round. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons, and we've seen them come up as he's played. Like as he's playing, we see the times where he doesn't see it. That's why he's got to move around and buy more time until he does. We've seen him miss people. We've seen him turn the ball over in some inopportune times. Like we've seen that, but you're willing to work with it because we've also seen immense talent, right? We've seen immense talent. The boy got something to him. I wish some of these white quarterbacks would stop with all of the I'm going to try to do all of the blackest stuff I can possibly think of doing because it looked cornballish. But if that's who he is, that's who he is, right? Like we saw Baker Mayfield come out and start doing that stuff. And then as the years went on, he kind of calmed that thing down and became more of the, dude that he was supposed to be. But ultimately, I look at this and go, if you come out with cameras in front of you and look at the head coach and go, we're going with your guy. Like, hey, you make it known in front of cameras.
Just about to bring that up. I'm glad you did that,
in front
Coach.
of the cameras. Hey, this is your guy. You can't take credit for him.
But my point is, and again, I think we all on the same page with Joe Schoen. But my point is, you don't get any type of credit for still going with someone else's guy.
Ultimately, you're right, TP, because he is the last call. It's him in ownership. So ultimately, yes, that part he did listen to Brian Daboll. That's the way I look at it. I'm looking at it from that lens of at least he actually did, listen to Daboll, and they were collaborative on that. And I'll give him credit for that. But clearly, in my opinion, bro, if he was so in love with Jackson Dart, he would have took him third overall. Okay, he didn't. So he wasn't in love with him.
You actually are falling right in, and I'll start with you, being that you really segued right into one of the questions I have for tonight. If you can go back in time and you have that third overall pick again, are you picking Abdul Carter, knowing what you know now?
What I know now? What I know now, as far as like,
because I want to go out here and I want to say I've been on record.
Yeah.
Again, this is why I actually love doing what I do, because y'all get to check the facts. If I could come up here and say anything, but y'all could go fact check. I had my opinions on Abdul Carter, and I'm not disrespecting the man. I'm not trying to devalue him, but I never thought that Abdul Carter was what people were telling me he was. So I just want to know, would you go back, and if you had to do it again, would you get Abdul in that third pick?
No.
And if not, what would you do?
I would have took him. I still would have took him, or very least, I would have traded down and whoever's on the board because you know what? Ultimately, quarterback trumps all. And I ain't gonna lie, I was on record as saying I wanted to take Shedeur at 3. I was on that. I was on that wave at the time. But your question is knowing what I know now. So, man, I'm gonna be honest. I still believe in Abdul Carter. I still think he's gonna be a good player in this league. He's got immaturity issues. I'm pissed off about that. Okay, because I don't like players that think that they got it like that, especially when they haven't accomplished nothing. So that bothers me. I ain't gonna lie.
But Jorge, that's what pisses me off.
But we didn't hear any of this stuff coming out about him at the time of the draft process. So that is really surprising to me that happened. Very surprising to me that he's been doing this. It looks like the whole entire season. I give it thought. Now that I give it thought. Now, no, you said now what I know now, and based on the fact that I would have took Shedeur 3, if I would have knew this was with Dart, I would have took Dart at 3. I think I wouldn't have taken him. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think you're right, bro. I think I wouldn't have, because quarterback trumps everything for me. And that was our biggest question in the offseason last year, man.
But why take him for 3 if you know you could have got him where we got him?
Well, I'm thinking that the question is based on the kind of players that we know they are right now, like today. Because honestly, we didn't know Dart was like this, in my opinion, at the time, because we would have been all on the Jackson Dart wave at the time, but we weren't. We were on Shedeur. So it's
my
what
problem.
I mean?
My problem when it comes to the evaluation of players, and I've been saying this as of recently, is that I don't think that we do a good enough job as far as looking at pedigree of players. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you get players who have certain talents and abilities. That's one thing, but where is the players that have a certain pedigree that plays into what we're trying to do, especially defensively? Like the pedigree that we see Jackson Dart has, the pedigree that we see Scatterbo has. Like these dogs, yeah, it's fine on the offensive side, but what about the defense? Mm-hmm. Like it's good to look at talent, but what about the pedigree of these guys, the character, like what these guys, are about? That, I mean, that's one of my big issue of it. But Coach, what's your answer to that?
You want to know one of the dumbest things I hear people say all the time is the great teams don't pick for need, they pick best player available. Yep, you're right. You are 1,000% right. They pick the best player available. They're the best teams of course they pick the best player available. When you're not the best team, when you're not the great team, you know what you can't be out here doing? Picking who you think the best player available is when you have all of these like glaring holes all over the place that you need to fill. You got to fill one of those holes, and you got to do it immediately. Yeah. Right? You gotta go right now. So if you're asking me, knowing what I know now, what I would have done, because everybody who knows anything knows that I was on Shedeur and I'm still on him. Because guess what? As an evaluator, I don't change my evaluation based off what other people did. I wait to see what the end result of my evaluation is, and then I look and see if I was wrong or if I was not. I can't say I'm wrong about Shedeur, and the man hasn't had a chance. Right. But what I will say is, based off of what I know now, I'm 1,000% trading that third round, that number 3 pick. Mm-hmm. I'm going to drop down. I'm going to get more picks. Why? Because we need players. We needed a linebacker. We need a third level guy. We really low-key needed another interior offensive lineman. We needed an interior defensive lineman. Corner. We needed another wide receiver. Mm-hmm. That number 1 pick could have turned into several things in last year's draft. And then I would have gone, and later on in the draft, I would have got Shedeur Sanders since he was going to drop to the 5th round anyway, right? I would have filled all of the needs, all of the holes, and you know why I would have done that? Because the Giants sold us on, hey, we have the plan in place for this year. The plan is Russell Wilson, and the plan is Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston to back him up.
Yeah.
Why would you deviate from the plan? You guys want to know why everything went wrong? It went wrong because they deviated from the plan. Here's where you screw up at. You never bring in Russell Wilson. You already got Jameis Winston. Period, end. If Jameis Winston starts this season looks completely different. Russell Wilson threw for God knows how many yards against the Dallas Cowboys. How many you think that Jameis Winston would have thrown for?
550.
He would have been out there. He would still be throwing touchdowns on the Giants right now.
Yeah.
He would still be throwing touchdowns. Why is there a need to bring in Jackson Dart if you told us in the beginning of the year that he was going to be a red shirt this year? It doesn't matter how good he looked in preseason. If he's a red shirt him. And now in that time, you know what you could do? Teach him how to protect himself and not be a crash test dummy when he starts running the ball. Like all of these things happened because the New York Giants made moves that were predicated that they thought would save their job. And instead, they just made more of a mess of the situation.
I totally agree, Coach.
Totally agree, Coach. Atticus, before you answer this, I do want to shout out Door Gunner in the building for the super chat. He says Abdul Carter is Big Apple Chase Young.
I ain't gonna put that on Abdul.
Not a harsh, guys.
Abdul Carter has more hustle in him than Chase Young has. That's the difference. I think Abdul Carter's issue is simply maturity. But and here's the problem. He had maturity issues at Penn State. Why do you think he went from middle linebacker to edge rusher? Edge rusher, you don't have to do as much thinking. You don't have to be as locked in on what your job is to just hunt from edge rusher. At middle linebacker, I need you to run the defense. I can't have you running the defense if you're kind of sort of really into this playbook, if you're kind of sort of into. People knew Abdul Carter had issues coming out of Penn State, but his talent was so immense that we're willing to overlook those issues. But why do you bring an edge rusher to a team that already has a bunch of edge rushers? And I'm still waiting for people to apologize to me about all of this Abdul Carter is better than Kayvon Thibodeau right now stuff that they was doing at the beginning of the year. If y'all don't get y'all goofy non-football knowing asses out of here with that stuff, Kayvon Thibodeau should be sitting back right now injured going, oh yeah, somebody gonna pay me. They see what this thing looks like with me being out. Just with me being out, you can see the difference. Am I lying?
No.
Listen, no. I've been saying, and at about time I hear someone else say it outside of me, so they not thinking I'm crazy. But I promise you, I've been saying this. I mean, I hate the Kayvon Thibodeau disrespect, man.
I don't understand.
I just can't stand it. I mean, but you said a lot, man. And
he's not elite, by the way.
I want to, Atticus, I want to give you a shot to answer the question, and then we're gonna get into this because you.
My bad.
He opened up a lot that I want to talk about. Go ahead, Atticus. On you.
Yeah, knowing what I know now, would I've done things differently? Probably. It's hard to speak in hypotheticals, right? Because who would have thought Cam Ward would be looking like he looking out there? He looks good in many respects, but he don't have no help. So his numbers is dragging down. Travis Hunter is not what we thought Travis Hunter was going to be, right? Mm-hmm. I was heavy on Shedeur too. I went to the draft party at Giant Stadium that night, and when they did not pick Shedeur and he continued to drop, I was like, what's happening? But when we selected Abdul Carter, I wasn't mad at the pick. Knowing what I know now, and I'm glad Coach talked about that drafting best play available as opposed to what you need to fill all the gaping holes on your team, because I was really big on Mason Graham and was hoping that we got somebody. It's like we haven't been able to stop the run effectively and consistently since we got rid of Snacks. Then we got rid of Big Cat when we had another guy to stop the run. And I was like, this is a problem. This has been a problem for 2 years now, our inability to stop the run. The opposing team is in 3rd and 3 or less. They get the first down. It's just been what we've seen over and over and over again. So if I had a do-over, I'd either trade down and get a couple of other picks, which is probably what I would do this year too, by the way.
Yes.
Or I would have took a closer look at Mason Graham because I just feel like we are a sieve when it comes to stopping the run. And one other thing I want to bring up, I want to respond to what Coach was talking about with Russell Wilson and why they brought him in. And I mean, the whole thing, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? They was all pivoting to save their jobs. Nobody was doing what was in the best interest of the team. Nobody was doing what was in the best interest for the players. They was the laws of self-preservation kicked in and they said, what do I got to do? That's why you got coaches running in the blue tents, knowing they're going to get fined. Is he ready? Get him back on the field. They really weren't looking out for what was in the best interest of the team. So when Russell Wilson was starting, and if you knew, and like you said, they took themselves off of their own schedule, removed themselves from the plan that they carefully constructed, and saw that Jackson Dart was ahead of the game. First of all, why you bring Russell in? And I think that they just, because they told him you're going to be our starter, they kept him as the starter. And then why did you bring Jackson Dart, elevate him, and push Jameis to the 3 and not the 2? They just did everything ass backwards. I had a lot of questions. I was real frustrated watching this thing unfold with these quarterbacks. And it was just another testament to these guys don't know what the hell they doing. That's what it boiled down to me.
That's clear. That's clear, and that's for sure. This is something that also was throughout the weeks, man, that's really been bothering some. Again, I'm one of those guys, man, where I don't always say the most popular thing, and people get at me for certain things, and one of those things is when I talk about people's favorites, that's when the bullets start flying. That's when they really start getting at me, and Jackson Dart is one of them. Jackson Dart has doubled down on his reckless style of play. I'm right now, to me, it is a big red flag, and everybody keeps trying to, throw it, under the rug and dress it up as, hey, it's him being tough and all of these other things. I love the fact that Jackson Dart is aggressive. I love the fact that he makes plays with his legs. I don't believe that, he should shy away from that. My big issue is just how he finishes these runs. I don't think it's smart. And I'm not going to crown him that tough gene for doing dumb shit. Everybody has been trying to tell him since college. Coach Gruden has publicly said it. Players on this team has said it. I'm going to even play this clip. This was just the other night on Shannon Sharp. This is what Wan'Dale Robinson is even coming out saying that he says it.
I know Jackson Dart played baseball. Tell him to go steal second base and slide. You're not gonna make no living. You're not gonna make a living, Wan'Dale. Running over, try to run over DBs and try to run over linebackers and linemen.
Man, that's just how he's built. He's like, man, I feel like I'm a running back whenever he get that ball. And I'm like, look, you get down.
No,
but we're gonna be all right. I promise you, get as many yards as you need to and just slide.
Yeah.
Now Dart tries to dress it up as, oh, you're gonna get hit anyway and things like that, but he's only telling 1.5 of that. Like, yes, it's football. You're gonna get hit. But there are some hits that you can avoid that he's just simply not doing. And I just believe the best ability, especially for a quarterback, is availability. And the fact that he's just doubling down on it more and more, I mean, are we going to wait till this becomes more of a consistent problem to say something? Or are we going to pinpoint it now and speak to it? What do y'all say?
Well, I think, honestly, I just think that it's a combination of young immaturity, arrogance, okay, and just straight up stupidity. I mean, you're the quarterback. You got to be available. The biggest thing about a quarterback is availability. You got to be available. And if you keep on taking these unnecessary hits in the quarterback position, it's not just about it hurts the offense. You hurt the team, the entire team.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the quarterback is the most important position on the football field. Okay, the defense is not going to throw a shutout every game. The quarterback can score no matter what. That is your leader. That is what gives the defense hope to get the ball back, to get you the opportunity to win. And if you're not available because you don't want to slide and you're being stupid on the field, then it's a waste of time. And we're just going to be wasting his rookie deal, because sooner or later, the Giants are going to have a decision to make whether if this guy is trustworthy. No team in the league wants a quarterback that's only gonna play 6 games a year because they taking unnecessary hits. Even if it's not unnecessary hits and they just always hurt. You see it all the time with quarterbacks around the league. So at the end of the day, Jackson Dart got to be smarter, man. I get it. You know, he's trying to go out there and gain respect in the league and show he's tough and all that. All right, enough of that. It's time now to be on the field, available for your team, so that way you can develop into the quarterback that this team and organization believes that. And if you can't be on the field, then that can't be done. So he got to cut it out. It's just straight stupidity at this point. You know, and I hated that answer, TP, when you talking about when you said that. I hated it. Okay, because I like the kid, but I hated that answer because it was almost like a unnecessary bravado. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what y'all talking about. I'm tougher than y'all. Screw you. I'm gonna go out there and play because this is how I've always played. Listen, it's time somebody real him, and that's one of the reasons why I think we need a coach that's not gonna take that BS. We can get into that also, you know, but hey, I'm with you, TP. I hated that answer when he said that because I can't sit here and criticize for years about how Danny Jones would get hurt all the time and things like that, and then turn around and turn my head because Jackson Dart thinks it's cool to risk injury all the time. No, I'm not doing that. So I'm with you, man.
And the Patriots taught his ass. Taught his ass. You thought running up the sideline all willy-nilly trying to be cute and shit. Yeah. There's some guys out there that straight up want it. There's some guys that out there that have that pedigree that I'm telling y'all that I'm looking for on the defense, and that they will completely just welcome you to the NFL.
That was definitely,
and we've seen it. I'm glad. I'm glad they smacked his ass like when he was just.
And none of them are in the Giants secondary.
No,
none of those dudes are in the Giants. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that was clearly a
game. If you really want to get down to it, that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's what we dealing with here. Is we don't have that level of pit bull puppy that you need. And my problem with Dart, it's not him being aggressive. Aggression is great, but you got to know when the game's over. You got to know when you've got as much out of it as you can, right? You can't take the extra 2 steps. You got to just get out of bounds. Now, if you wanna run smarter, when you tiptoeing up the sideline, get your eyes inside, cut back inside. Right? If you're trying to really do it, if you really want to be about it, then be about it. You know the difference. I was thinking about this. Jackson Dart is listed as 6'2", 223.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes is 6'2", 225. You see what Patrick Mahomes be doing to dudes on the sideline? When he run on the sideline, he make it known it ain't sweet over here, right? But he does it smart. He lures you in, right? He lures you in, he booms you. Then the next one he gets out early, 2 to 3 steps. You still coming at him.
Yeah.
Now he got you. Now he got you thinking.
They changed the rule because he's so good at that. They changed the way they calling it now.
Yeah, now he's got you thinking.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Guess what a defense person can't do? He can't be aggressive and think. It's an impossibility. You can't be aggressive while you're thinking because the brain is buffering. It slows you down. That's the difference. It's a chess match, and Jackson Dart's out here playing checkers. It's a chess match. He's out here playing checkers, and ladies and gentlemen, checkers, you get beat when you play chess masters. Like, that's what it is. He should be able to run, pick up first downs, know when it's over, get down. He should be able to run in run plays, know how to take hits, know when it is to get down. It's the same problem Cam Scatterbo has. They're the same dude. They're just in different packages and they play different positions. But it's the same problem that Scatterbo has. You know how many times I watched Scatterbo run somebody over where all he had to do was just sidestep and he could have picked up another 2 to 3 yards?
Mm-hmm.
if we talking about this, the maturity, that's where it is. And you know what's going to teach that? Time. Time's going to teach it. You keep on doing this shit. Keep on being out here with this crazy stuff out here, Jackson Dart. like keep on rolling out there with them Philly boys. You know what Philly got a team full of? Dudes that will knock your head off if you tiptoeing down the sideline. You know what the Dallas Cowboys seem to have coming back? Because as their defense gets better, dudes that'll hit you if you tiptoeing down the sideline. Keep on. He gonna learn, and experience is going to teach it to him the same way it taught it to Daniel Jones. Remember when Daniel Jones tried to run a dude over and like messed his shoulder up?
Yeah,
in Dallas. I remember that.
Yep.
You could have easily just ran out of bounds, bro. You looked at him, you sized him up, and then you ran and you tried to run him over and you hurt yourself. That's stupid. That's stupid. And Jackson Dart's going to learn, or else he's going to be on the IR a lot, and we're going to get a chance to see a lot of Jameis Winston. This is why you start Jameis Winston at. You know what? Let me rewind. This is why you should have had an open competition at the beginning of the year.
That's right.
Which Jameis Winston would have won because I was at a good amount of training camp practices. I also have people who are there every day. He was clearly the best looking quarterback the entire time. If you have an open competition, Jameis Winston's your one. You probably do Russell Wilson a favor and cut him. Because if you brought him in to be the one and he's on a 1-year contract, why would you keep him? You might as well cut him, let him go try to find a place where he might have a chance to start. Jackson Dart would have been your number 2. He's learning from a guy who plays a very similar game to him. And now you get some mentorship. We don't ever see Jameis Winston take them type of hits. And there's nothing about Winston that's not aggressive. There's nothing about him that's not aggressive. It's the perfect teacher. He has the perfect teacher in front of him. Somebody who understands his role, but he wasn't allowed to do his role because you went out and got in, let's ride, or whatever hashtag, Russell Wilson want to be. Like you went in and you got him and you got all of the goofy, company man stuff that you're going to get from Russell Wilson, but you got none of the substance you needed in order to give the young bull a chance to understand he shouldn't be out here doing this goofy stuff.
Yeah.
Why you drag Russell like that?
I listened to.
I think Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. He just ain't a Hall of Famer now. Like
I listened, Coach. I listened to actually one of your one of your streams, and you did have high praise for Jameis Winston. And what I do, I always do this. I always tell people, I have my opinion, but I'm always going to give an ear and listen to the credible sources that I have surrounding me. And you made some valid points. You did kind of make me kind of come around to the whole Jameis Winston heights things. There are some things I wish I could remember. There's some things where I did disagree with, but for the most part, the whole premise of what you've said about Jameis Winston, I gotta say, man, I 100% agree, and I think we all can agree that there was just no need, no purpose to have a Russell Wilson here when you have a Jameis
for 2 years.
Yeah.
You
for
got
2
him
years
locked up for 2 years on the cheap. Why would you then go and pay this dude more money than you're paying him on the cheap for 2 years? That's another Joe Schoen failure. You wasted money out here, my guy. That could have been a D tackle.
And you know what's makes it worse about Russell Wilson is his style of play doesn't even fit the scheme in New York.
Nothing like it.
All.
Wow.
They couldn't do what he wanted to do. Right. Yep. And to circle back on that, which with regards to why Russell should have been, I ain't gonna lie, I was rooting for Russell to do well. I thought he had something left because he got Pittsburgh to the playoffs. He helped get them to the playoffs last year. But like Coach said, if you have Jameis for 2 years, and you bring in Russell now, and then you draft the quarterback. Well, I guess what? If you really believed in Jackson Dart, like they're trying to claim, Joe Schoen was claiming, then Russell Wilson would have never got signed, because he would have definitely took Dart early, and there would have been no need to get Russell Wilson. It would have just been Winston, like you said, Winston, and Jackson Dart. You know what I'm saying? Russell would have never got signed, man. So that just goes to show you everything Shane was trying to sell us in that press conference was bogus, man. It was bogus.
Let me ask you a quick question. The Pittsburgh Steelers, in 2024, they started off the season,
3-0.
It was 3-0. Then it was essentially 6.
No, I think it was 1-3. Was
6 and 8. No. It was 3-0.
Was it
3-0?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was overall 6-2 by the break. What did Russell Wilson have to do with that? That was
you're right. They did start 3-0. Yeah.
Right. So, like, it wasn't Russell Wilson carrying them to the playoffs. We saw the
Russell Wilson was injured the first 3 games. By the way,
he was hurt. Yeah,
That's what I'm telling you. It was Justin Fields was out there with a winning record with Pittsburgh. Then they brought back Russell Wilson, and everybody was like, "Oh well, he passes the ball a little bit better. The moon balls, blah 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 blah." He really just rode the wave that was already going in the right direction. That's what he's become. He's not the same guy, and it's okay if we say that. I don't agree with any of these people who try to put this stuff as reason why he's not a Hall of Famer, right? Like, what he did is what he did. You can't take that shit off the board. But what he is now is a guy that's not that dude. And when you're in an offense where, if you notice, the RPO game becomes heavily prevalent the moment that Russell Wilson goes out the game, then Russell Wilson shouldn't be there. We saw it in the preseason. Russell Wilson would come in and do nothing. Then they would bring in Jameis, RPO actions, boom, boom, touchdown. Dart, boom, 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 touchdown. Tommy Cutlets, boom, 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 touchdown. Every week it would be the same thing. They bring Dart in as the number 2, boom, 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 touchdown. Winston come in, boom, 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 touchdown. Tommy DeVito, boom, 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 touchdown. It was consistent. These 3 guys fit what we're trying to do. You don't. It's like the old Sesame Street thing. One of these things is doing their own. One of these kids just don't belong. Like, right? Yeah, he just didn't fit.
Right.
He didn't fit. And so the sad part about it is that because they kept Russell Wilson, they had to get rid of Tommy DeVito. And Tommy DeVito, low-key, had a better knowledge and mastery of the offense than any of the other quarterbacks.
Yeah, so
and a better fit.
Yeah, now you don't even have another guy who could be helping mentor your young quarterback in an offense that he's been in for the past 2 seasons. It's just it's silly, and all of it goes back up to the top. This is a familiar frame for me, TP. Yeah. I'm just saying.
And you know what else? It's like, to your point, Russell Wilson, by the time he got here, it doesn't take away from what he's already accomplished, right? But he was cooked, right? It's like Jordan, when he went to the Wizards, didn't take away from what he was, but Jordan with the Wizards wasn't Jordan with the Bulls, right?
No.
Russ with the Giants was not what Russ was with the Seahawks. Russ is cooked.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Russ with the Giants wasn't Jordan with the Wizards either.
He wasn't even that.
He had one good. That Cowboy game was taken from him, man. Let's be honest.
Any one of those quarterbacks would have did that with the Cowboys. The Cowboys secondary at that time was trash.
But this is my pushback to that, right? Because I'm only speaking to this Cowboy game. There's this reoccurring theme where just like people overly act like Russell Wilson is just super duper uber trash, and that's where I disagree with people. Is he anything that he once was? We know that. No. I agree with Coach when he says that no, he is not that guy that's gonna carry an offense. He's just not that. But I also believe that he is the best deep ball thrower that we have on this team. I believe that.
Right. You think he's better than that? You think he's better than Jameis?
That's a good one.
Come on, TP. He better than Jameis. You watching these balls Jameis throwing out here?
No, Jameis. Okay. Jameis puts it out there.
It don't take as long to get there. That's the problem with Wilson. It takes so long to get there that allows the defense to catch up. Like with Winston, that ball is there right now. It's there right now. Now, whether they catch it or not, that's a different story. But like, it's there right now. I don't think that Russell Wilson ever fit this offense. That's my problem. And so when you're not the guy that you used to be, and you don't fit the offense, then how is it like how? What are we doing?
Yeah,
it don't make any sense.
Hey, Born for Sports, I know you got to get up out of here, man. Dude, we not gonna be too much longer anyway. But go ahead, man, and just tell people, man, where they could follow you, where they could subscribe to you, and then just your closing words, man, for you dip.
Well, first of all, salute to you, TP, and salute to you guys, Coach Atticus, in this great panel. I enjoyed chopping it up with y'all. Everybody out there, y'all can reach me at, if you want to come check. First of all, y'all need to like this stream. Make sure y'all like this stream, okay? Make sure y'all, if y'all haven't already, subscribe to my guy, TP Way the Giant, and these other two great Giant content creators as well. But if you want to come and check me out and see what I got to say, the ad is right there. BORN 4 SPORTZ75. I talk about the Giants. I talk about all New York sports, Knicks, Mets, Yankees, whatever you want to talk about, y'all. So, thanks for having me.
Yes,
unfortunately, I got to roll. But listen, enjoyed it. And let's see if, we can get a little mojo going in the bye. We can maybe get a win against those bum old ass Commanders. At least give me that. Can I get a win against the Commanders before the season's over? If you're not going to win any more games, Giants, I'll take this one if you don't mind. I mean, come on, right?
Hey, man, Giants, salute to my guy, Born for Sports. I'm going to be at that Washington game too, man. I'm going to be at that Washington game.
All right. I'm going to see if I can get out there for sure.
Okay, that's a bet. Yeah, man, I'll holler at you, man. Appreciate you.
Salute everybody, man. Have a good one, man.
Yes, sir.
You too, brother.
All right. Real quick. All right. So this is a 2-part question. What position group impresses you the most, and what position group is the biggest disappointment? Matter of fact, let me answer my own question first. The position group that impresses me the most, I am going to have to give it to this. I'm stuck between two. I'm gonna say the receiving core, and this is why. I'm gonna say the receiving core because my expectations when Malik was gone was at an absolute low. And prior to this year, there's been years when I've been, pleading for these guys to step up, and that just wasn't the case. I feel like the drops have definitely lowered from this year, and I don't even know the stats, but from this year to prior years. And I feel like for the most part, we've seen some decent performances for some guys that you could take from. Wan'Dale Robinson, to me, he's been one that I've been consistently, saying that I just haven't given up on. To see Isaiah Hodgins in this short span of time look like the Isaiah Hodgins of old and still, being able to put his footprint in this whole situation, I love to see it. Even if you want to include these tight ends, Theo Johnson, his consistency isn't there, but he also shows you capabilities and abilities. Daniel Bellinger, I wish we would use him more, but he's also shown you this year that nothing is wrong with the guy. You know, you do have the other side to it where it's like, okay, Darius Slayton, he hasn't produced the way I would like him to. Everyone knows that I'm a Darius Slayton guy. And of course, you have the whole Jalen Hyatt debacle, right? But overall, I just feel like for the most part, they've stepped up in some big ways. The biggest disappointment for me definitely has to be the linebacker group, and really it's either between them and the safety play. But I'm gonna just say this linebacker group, man. I just see a lot of soft shit out there. I would like to see just more of a physicality approach from these dudes, shutting off blocks and being more aggressive. I haven't seen that, and it's absolutely terrible at times. I'm not gonna lie. So those are my two. What do you say?
I think I'm gonna go with. I like the groups that you picked, but I think that by and large the offensive line, I just got to give them credit. They have been so objectively bad over the past several years, and I'm seeing these guys in the way, like, you don't see too many procedural penalties from these guys. You saw that one game where Jermaine Illuminor had 2 false starts on the same drive, but aside from that, they have been a functional offensive line in a way that I'm just not used to seeing as a Giants fan.
Right.
I'm used to seeing these quarterbacks having to get the ball on quick read plays and hot reads because there's no time to throw the ball. There's no running lanes that's being open. And honestly, a lot of the rushing that we seen was based on the creativity from the running backs, not because the offensive line was making holes. But this year, I think they have played a lot better, by far better than they have in the past. And as far as the defense goes, there's 2 different position groups that they are equally bad as far as I'm concerned. The defensive line is horrible. It's atrocious. I don't think that the linebacker play is as bad as you think it is, only because these edge rushers, while they haven't gotten to the quarterback as much as you want them to outside of Brian Burns, they still lead the league as a group in pressures against the quarterback. So I do like that. But the defensive front, they can't stop the run. We giving up 5.8 yards a carry, and that starts right up front. But the secondary is atrocious. They threw $100 million. $100 million at that secondary, and we getting nothing in return from them. It is painful to watch this Giants team just give up big play after big play after big play. And once you get a running back who makes it through the first level and then the second level, and then they get to the secondary where these safeties are, that granted they already at top speed and their angles are bad. I don't know which one is worse, whether if it's the defensive line or the secondary. So I'm going to have to give half to the defensive line and half to the secondary group.
Okay. Coach,
no, respect to all that. And I want to start by saying that I'm glad that the offensive line has had a chance to know what it feels like to have consistency, like continuity, consistency within the guys that are out there. I remember at the beginning of the year, people were like really like upset about Andrew Thomas. And if anybody saw like any of my shows at the beginning of the year, I said, hey, if I told you that Andrew Thomas was going to miss the first 2 to 3 games of the season, but you were going to get a healthy Andrew Thomas the rest of the year, would you take it? And this is what we've seen. Andrew Thomas is once again one of the best left tackles in the game.
Yeah.
Salute. Right? Like, for all the people who said, oh, it's time to try to get rid of him, because he can't stay healthy. Hey, yo, shut up. He's 26 years old. Stop talking. Like, sometimes you just got to tell people to shut up, TP.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. When people start saying that goofy shit about hey, we gotta get Andrew Thomas out of here. You just gotta tell him be quiet. You don't get rid of offensive linemen in their early 20s and mid 20s who are having injury issues because they play until they're damn near 40. That's why you don't get rid of them, right? Shout out to the offensive line. I still contend it could be better. Like it could be a very dominant run blocking offensive line if they would have put Van Roten at center and put the pressure on the young boy to step up. If they would have put Evan Neal at left guard and put those two next to each other, I still contend they could have been an absolute like just monster as a run blocking unit, but they've done well. I want to say, to me, the best unit have been the quarterbacks. Yeah. And I say that even with Russell Wilson being right? Like even with Russell Wilson getting replaced, the quarterbacks have been out there. Y'all just talked about it. They're without their number one wide receiver, who they gave almost 180 targets to last year.
Yeah.
So now you've had to find somewhere else to go with 180 targets. They've weathered the storm. They've for the most part, they've kept the Giants in every game. It's usually the defense that loses it, right? Last game, It was the special teams. We ain't gonna talk about it. You know, remember they got rid of the special teams coordinator. Remember they got rid of Thomas McGahee.
Yeah,
they blamed it on McGahee. They said it was all his fault. He walked over to Tampa. Their special teams got instantly better. The Giants got worse. Just saying. So I think it's the quarterbacks. I think that they have held it down for what they're working with. The worst is it's not even close. It's not even close. Actually, I lie. It is close. But I think it's interesting that you don't add the edge rushers in with the defensive line. I think it's interesting you don't add the edge rushers in with the defensive line. If I have $100 million defensive end and two top five defensive end edge rushers, if I have all three of them in there, and I have a top pick as a defensive tackle, and then I have another guy who I took with a high day 2 pick, I expect to have better results than what I've had. We spent money on defensive ends. We spent money on D tackles, and we refuse to put together units that make sense to stop the run. And then we bring in the pass rushing unit. For some reason, we want these edge rushers to be legitimate, like old school 43 defensive ends that play the run and pay the pass. Sorry, Abdul Carter. He's just not good at that yet. So why do we have him out on the field? And I'm talking as a coach. Like, why do I have him out on the field if that's not what he does better yet? Why not limit him when I've got these guys who are tweener defensive tackle, defensive end guys who were getting the job done in Cleveland and in Seattle and in Jacksonville and in Dallas, who play the run way better. Why are we just – you want to know why the run defense is so bad? It's because the two edge rushers run outside every time and leave these gaping holes that you're now asking safeties to fill from 22 yards back, because it's two linebackers. One of them is trash. The other one is Bobby Okereke. And right, like Bobby Okereke's out here catching strays because he's out here with a bunch of dudes who don't know how to run fit.
Yeah.
Right? Bobby Okereke, his statistics are just as good as they've always been. The difference is, and by the way, this tells you just how bad the linebacking core is. The interior linebacking core is. It makes you miss a guy like Micah McFadden, who's just average. Like, that's how bad it's been. Micah McFadden is missed in this defense right now. Did they address linebacker at a high level with all of these elite level athletes that were out there at linebacker? No, they traded away stuff to get the quarterback that they probably should have taken at the. You know what? I digress. This defensive line, your $100 million nose guard that isn't producing, your second round pick or third round pick that isn't producing, your 3 elite level edge rushers that are getting all of these pressures. What is a pressure if you don't get home? It's a missed opportunity. It's a missed opportunity. You know how many times I've watched the spider just whiff on a quarterback? You want to know how many times I've watched Abdul Carter whiff on a quarterback? I've watched Kayvon Thibodeau whiff on a quarterback. How are we giving you credit for pressure when he made you look foolish? Does anybody not remember the Chicago game where they had this dude Caleb Williams out there looking like effing Houdini?
Man,
they couldn't bring him down. Oh, but the pressures matter. Them pressures don't mean a thing. And I told Giants fans, I told you guys that I was going to hold Abdul Carter to the same level that you held Kayvon Thibodeau to as a rookie, and he hasn't been anywhere near as good as Kayvon. He can't hold Kayvon's job. He can't even hold his job. Pressures don't mean a thing if you don't get home. It's just missed opportunities. So for me, I'm looking at that defensive line and I'm going, you know what would be better? Because we wasted all of this money in the secondary, all this $100 million in the secondary. I agree with you. Paulson Adebo's always been grabby. He shouldn't have to cover so long. We got 4 first-round draft picks up there, like rushing the quarterback. He shouldn't have to cover for long. We've got a guy playing free safety who's never been good at the third level. We got 2 other dudes playing the other safety who were second level safeties in college that we're trying to get to be third level safeties. We've got a nickel back who's aggressive, but not always the smartest.
Yeah.
And then we've got Cordell Flott, who's been solid, but they've bounced him around from nickel to outside to boundary corner to field corner. They've never allowed him to have any consistency, even though back when he was a rookie, he was starting in a playoff game for the Giants. Then you've got a guy on the other side that has been so mismanaged, has been so put in positions that don't feed to his strengths. And then everybody just shits on him every single time they get a chance to. That's Deonte Banks. He makes one bad play. He'll have one bad play, and somehow he didn't do anything good the entire game. I'm like, I really just want to go out.
I know you don't like Deonte Banks.
I don't. It's not that I don't like him. I don't like him, right? But I never liked him. But I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, well, he does everything wrong.
Yeah.
He's making the same mistakes that Paulson Adebo is, and I haven't heard anybody on Paulson Adebo's head. You getting paid all that money, homeboy. Your job is to produce, but he's not. And nobody says anything about it. They're too busy ragging on Deonte Banks. We already know who he is.
Yeah.
We already know who he is.
That's a fact.
Get on that dude over there making all that money.
I said it on a post-game live. I said Adebo looked exactly like Deonte Banks. He didn't look any different than what Deonte Banks looked like versus the Patriots.
He looked worse because he got fatter pockets. He got paid.
They cooked him. They cooked
Good point. That's a fact.
Slower because his pockets.
Let me ask you a question, Coach. Let me ask you a question. Do you think, because I noticed that too, I'd rather see like a 4-3 type defense, and I'd like to see the edge rushers hug that C gap a little closer. Why do you think it's a coaching thing? Why they flare out so wide and try to close that side of the field off so that the quarterback don't spring out? Do you think that's a coaching thing, or you think that's just the technique that these guys naturally use?
They're pass rushers. If you notice, Kayvon Thibodeau is the only one of the 3 that doesn't do it because Kayvon Thibodeau is a real defensive end. He's a real defensive end. Like he is used to playing that technique. The other guys are just out here to pass rush. And whether it's a run play or a pass play, they're still pass rushing. And when you get that, it's really easy to scheme. The problem with the Shane Bowen scheme, and Shane Bowen got Brian Daboll fired. Let's make no mistake about it. Shane Bowen got Brian Daboll fired. He should have went out the door with Brian Daboll. And the moment he didn't was the moment you knew that Mike Kafka should not be the head coach of this team. Right? So,
but don't you think Brian Daboll keeping Shane Bowen is the reason Brian Daboll got fired by Shane Bowen?
No, that's what I just said. Shane Bowen got Brian Daboll fired.
But Daboll kept him. He should have got rid of him.
No, I'm saying the hiring of Shane Bowen is what eventually got Brian Daboll fired. It was the mistake that got him fired. He should have never hired that guy. He should have never hired that guy. I said it on my podcast. He and Wink should have went into a locker room somewhere by themselves. They should have duked it out. And came out of there, went to a bar, had a few drinks, pieced it out, and kept it moving. Instead, he let ego get in the way. And this team, with this type of firepower, would be perfect for Wink Martindale. Yeah. Wink Martindale would be bringing pressure from he'd be bringing pressure from your mama house coming out there. Like, this is a Wink Martindale style of defense. And because you were too busy in your ego to care about what was best for the team, you fired a coach after all of the defensive coordinator candidates were off the board. So now you're dealing with the scraps, right? So you're dealing with the scraps, and that's the result. And so in this defense, which is a bastardized 43 defense, right? Because they play with two interior linemen and then the edge rushers, you can't have those guys flaring out and bubbling around, or else you're going to make these giant chasms. Where does the Giants get hit for big plays? Off tackle. Every single time. Off tackle. There's no defensive end squeezing that tackle and holding so that window is small for him to go through. Now it makes it easier for a linebacker who's terrible at fitting runs to run fit, and it gives the safety a chance to have a window that's smaller to be able to fill. So to answer your question, schematically, it was a mistake because your personnel doesn't believe in that type of system. They're 3-4 outside linebackers. There should be 3 D linemen in there, like real legitimate, like hold up the gap type of dudes. The linebackers should be able to run free, and that would allow for those dudes to come off edge and not have to worry about holding down that C gap tight, because those tackles would be there, right? So it's just a scheme that doesn't work for the personnel, and yet they kept trying to. That's why Daboll's gone, and now that's why Joe Shane's gone, and whoever the boob that they put a defensive coordinator.
Hopefully Joe Shane will be gone. He ain't going yet.
I mean, not Joe Shane, but Shane Bowen. Shane Bowen, that's why he's gone, and hopefully whoever the boob they put in charge of the defense, he should be gone too, because they look completely and totally inept in that game.
Listen, this stream, man, I'm telling you, was as good as I thought it was gonna be. Matter of fact, even more. I feel like this we need to do a part 2, man, because this could really have been much longer than it was, man. But I do want people to get to their families, and I know some people want to tune in to this game. Right now, the Lions is handling biz, just to update people. But listen, if you are tuned in right now, man, please make sure that you like this stream and you subscribe not only to myself, but subscribe to all of these gentlemen up here, man. This was a good one, man. This was a good one for sure. I want to give the opportunity, fellas, for y'all to just at least get your closing words, man. Please let the people know what you have going on. where they could find you, where they could subscribe to you, and all of these good stuff. And man, this was dope. This was dope. I'm like a kid at a candy store right now. I could do this shit all day, honestly. But Atticus, I'll start with you. Talk to the people, man.
No doubt. Thanks for having me, TP.
Yes,
I really enjoyed myself tonight with you. Coach, it was great, man. I've watched your videos for a long time now, so it's good to interact with you. And a brother who left earlier, too. That was great. So you guys can find me at the NYG Blue Zone. I'm right here on YouTube also. You can find us on TikTok and wherever you stream podcasts. We're there also. So usually it's me. You see me and my little girl. She's 10 years old, Stella Rose. And she know more ball than some of these other fans out here. She's real good with it,
bro.
Yeah, Stella Rose.
Yep.
We go to the games together. We have a good time. Last year, we went to see the Steelers and the Giants in Heinz Field, and she and I were rocking our New York Giants blue, and she was like giving it to them because she 10. They was taking it gracefully, so it was nice. And this year, we actually go into the draft out there. Because it's going to be in Pittsburgh, and my wife got family there. So we'll be there representing them too. But I really enjoyed the stream tonight. So thanks for having me. And we got to do it again, man.
Yes, sir. Also, man, please, just before you go, tell the people about your store. Listen, I got a wine glass. My wife got mad at me. She said, "Why you ain't get me one?" So I got to go back.
Do that.
Yeah. I got to go back. You know what, babe? I'm sorry. I'm going back. I got to get me another one, man. But please, just let the people know where they could go shop for some merch as well, man.
Yeah, we got merch too. Just go to nygbluezone.com, and we got all types of stuff from mouse pads to hoodies to hats to wine glasses, a whole bunch of different things up there. And what we're doing is, for the first 5 people who purchase, we're going to send you a free coffee mug too. So TP, you got one on the way too.
Ooh, look, I'm gonna tell wifey, look, I ain't forget about you.
Hopefully she ain't watching the stream.
Oh man, yes. Shout out to Atticus for sure, man. Definitely a super dope New York Giant content creator, and again, shout out to Stella Rose. She's doing amazing, man. I love seeing it. Thank you, man. Thank you for doing this and hopping on this again. This was super dope, man.
Yo, shout out to Stella Rose, like putting them in their place out there. I love it.
Yep. That's
what's up.
And then Coach also as well, man. Let the people know what you have going on your way.
Yeah, man. Everything starts at Gene Clemens everywhere on all social media. Come holler at me on Blue Sky, man. There's a lot of bots over there on X, right? You're trying to have conversations. You over there with a whole bunch of bots. Come on over to Blue Sky. Holler at me over there. Also, Coach Gene Clemens YouTube channel. You can catch me there. New York Giants on SI. That is where you find a Giant Issue podcast. Come over there. Holler at me anytime. I don't do enough podcasts because, if I'm being honest about it, I feel like it's bad for the soul to just be super negative all the time. And so I try to bring at least some positive, and I really do think it's some positives to take away from this season. Like, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people who are diehard Giants fans do, obviously. I think there's a lot to build on. And so come over there and holler at me and see what we're doing over there at the New York Giants on SI. That's also where you go, New York Giants on SI, to see any of our written content, any of the things that I do over there. And then finally, if you're into fantasy or anything fantasy, anything draft related, you can see all of the content and the things that I do at Fantasy Life. FantasyLife.com, by the way. Right now, get that tier 2 subscription. Holler at your boy. I'll hook you up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Coach. It has definitely been a pleasure, man. Thank you for carving out some time, man, and streaming with us. Greatly appreciated, and we definitely was able to hear a good football mind, man, for sure. Good football mind, because, again, I ain't going to take this time to talk about the bullshit that's out there, but let's just say we just had some substance tonight, all right? So we could always appreciate that.
I think we gotta do as content creators and people in this space, to be honest with you, I just think we gotta do a better job of supporting each other.
That's
we see it from other entities. They support each other.
Yes.
We gotta start jumping on each other's backs, and we all build together. They tried to breed it out of us. They tried to breed it out of us, if y'all know what I mean.
Yep.
And so we really got to stay on our dean and make sure that we are supporting. That's why anytime I get, hit up, hey man, you want to come on the pod? If I can make it happen, I'm trying to make it happen. Ain't no bit boying over here. It's about, it's about trying to continue to uplift everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no gatekeeping, right?
That. Yeah,
no gatekeeping around here.
Yep, there we go. And that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. So hopefully, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this as much as I did, for sure. Again, New York Giants salute to each and every one of you. Y'all have yourselves a good night. I hear y'all in the comments already. I'm gonna try to set something up. I'm gonna try to set something up again. This was dope. I'll holler at y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
All right, peace, everybody.
If I don't do nothing, I'ma ball and provide. Wifey said the only side piece she support is the piece on my side. Yeah. Everything gonna be fine. Rooting for her while she battling her back for my time. They say Virginia's for lovers, yeah, they love